The end of the Han dynasty refers to the period of Chinese history from 189 to 220 CE, which roughly coincides with the tumultuous reign of the Han dynasty's last ruler, Emperor Xian. During this period, the country was thrown into turmoil by the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Meanwhile, the Han Empire's institutions were destroyed by the warlord Dong Zhuo, and fractured into regional regimes ruled by various warlords, some of whom were nobles and officials of the Han imperial court. Eventually, one of those warlords, Cao Cao, was able to gradually reunify the empire, ostensibly under Emperor Xian's rule. But the empire was actually controlled by Cao Cao himself. Cao Cao's efforts to completely reunite the Han Empire were rebuffed at the Battle of Red Cliffs in 208–209, when his armies were defeated by the allied forces of Sun Quan and Liu Bei. The Han dynasty formally ended in 220 when Cao Cao's son and heir, Cao Pi, pressured Emperor Xian into abdicating in his favor. Cao Pi became the emperor of a new state, Cao Wei. A year later, in response to Cao Pi's usurpation of the Han throne, Liu Bei declared himself emperor of Shu Han, and in 229, Sun Quan followed suit, declaring himself emperor of Eastern Wu. The period from Emperor Qian's abdication in 220 to the partial reunification of China under the Jin dynasty in 265 was known as the Three Kingdoms era in Chinese history. Rise of regional authorities. Towards the end of the reign of Emperor Ling of Han, many officials in the imperial court foresaw chaos in the political scene as soon as Emperor Ling died. One of those officials, Yuan, suggested to Emperor Ling in 188 that the root of the agrarian revolts during the time, including the most serious Yellow Turban Rebellion of 184, was that inspectors lacked substantial administrative powers. Emperor Ling, convinced by Yuan, changed the inspectors' titles to governor and granted them the authority to levy taxes and command armed forces within the borders. Yuan was commissioned as the governor of Yi province, while several other important officials also became governors, including Liu Yu, who was appointed governor of Yu province. The increased influence of these provincial governors formed the basis on which later warlords would control large regions of the Han Empire. Collapse of imperial authority. Domination by Empress Dowager and Hyun. Emperor Ling died in 189 and was succeeded by his 13-year-old son, Liu Bian, who became known as Emperor Xiao. Empress He, now Empress Dowager, became regent to the young emperor, while her older brother, General-in-Chief Hyun, became the most powerful official in the imperial court. Hyun and Yuan Shao plotted to exterminate all the 10 attendants, a group of 10 influential eunuch officials in the court. But Empress Dowager disapproved of the plan. In a fateful move, Hyun summoned Dong Zhuo, a warlord controlling the battle-tested Liang province, to march on the capital Luoyang to threaten Empress Dowager into eliminating the 10 attendants. After the eunuchs discovered Hyun's plot, they lured him into the palace and murdered him. In response, Yuan Shao led the imperial guards on an indiscriminate massacre of the palace eunuchs. The surviving eunuchs kidnapped Emperor Xiao and his younger brother, the 8-year-old Prince of Chenliu, and fled north towards the Yellow River, but were finally forced to commit suicide by throwing themselves into the river. Dong Zhuo arrived on the scene and found Emperor Xiao and the Prince of Chenliu. The young emperor appeared nervous and fearful, while the prince remained calm and composed, and gave orders to Dong Zhuo to escort them back to the palace. Dong Zhuo used the opportunity to seize control of state power and bring his army into the capital. Not long later, Dong Zhuo deposed Emperor Xian and replaced him with the Prince of Chenglu, who became known as Emperor Xian. Dong Zhuo dominated the imperial court and named himself Chancellor of State, a title not held by anyone since the Western Han Dynasty statesman Xiao. Dong Zhuo also granted himself the privilege of attending court without needing to disarm himself or remove his shoes. Resistance against Dong Zhuo. In the spring of 190, several provincial officials and warlords formed a coalition against Dong Zhuo, claiming that he was set on usurping the throne and had effectively kidnapped Emperor Xian. Yuan Shao, administrator of Bohai, was nominated to be the leader of the coalition. The coalition armies was stationed at Henne and appeared to be ready to move on the capital Luoyang. However, the coalition was actually rather disorganized, and Yuan Shao did not have effective command over the entire alliance. Besides, the coalition members were also hesitant to directly confront Dong Zhuo and his strong Liang province military. Still, Dong Zhuo was anxious and chose to move the capital to Chang'an in the west to avoid the coalition. About a month later, Dong Zhuo forced Emperor Xian and the imperial court to move to Chang'an, along with Luoyang's residents, and in the process, he ordered the former capital to be destroyed by fire. During the move, Dong Zhuo remained near Luoyang, ready to resist any coalition attacks on him. In 191, the coalition tried to further delegitimize Dong Zhuo's position by offering to enthrone Lu Yu, who was eligible to be emperor since he was a member of the royal clan. Lu Yu remained faithful to Emperor Xian and firmly declined to take the throne. As the coalition members continued to bicker over battle plans, a minor general under Yuan Shu, Sun Jian, took a calculated risk and attacked Dong Zhuo directly near Luoyang. After scoring a number of victories over Dong Zhuo's forces, Sun Jian eventually forced Dong to retreat to Chang'an, and Luoyang came under the coalition's control. For the following months until the end of 191, the coalition ceased to take further action against Dong Zhuo, and eventually disbanded and the members returned to their respective bases. Soon, a number of officials started having thoughts of controlling and ruling over their own territories like kings. The most prominent warlords who emerged at the time included Yuan Shao, who seized control of Ji province from Han Fu in 191, Lu Yan, who controlled Ji province, Lu Biao, who controlled Jing province, Yuan Shu, Yuan Shao's half-brother, who controlled the area south of the Huai River. However, in addition to these greater warlords, in time the entire Han Empire virtually fractured into small blocks, each controlled by a local warlord. Dong Zhuo's death and continued warfare. Dong Zhuo's death. After Dong Zhuo withdrew to Chang'an, he maintained an even tighter grip on the government and cruelly dealt with all dissent against him. Interior Minister Wang Yun and a few other officials, including Hu Wangwan, Shisun Rui, and Yang Zanj, plotted to eliminate Dong Zhuo. They eventually persuaded Dong Zhuo's foster son, Lu Bu, to join them. Lu Bu bore a grudge against Dong Zhuo because the latter almost killed him once during a fit of anger, and also because he was afraid that his secret affair with one of Dong Zhuo's maids might be exposed. In May 192, the conspirators, led by Lu Bu and Wang Yun, assassinated Dong Zhuo and slaughtered his clan. failure to return to normality. After Dong Zhuo's death, it was believed that the chaos caused by Dong Zhuo's reign of terror would subside, and the central government would be restored to its original state. However, although Wang Yun was regarded as a capable minister, he gradually became arrogant and made several key mistakes that would cause his downfall. He failed to maintain good relations with Lu Bu, and strongly refused to grant amnesty to the surviving followers of Dong Zhuo and ordered them to be disbanded. This caused Dong Zhuo's men to fear that they might be massacred. Dong Zhuo's son-in-law, Niu Fu, took control of Dong's forces in Liang province and resisted Wang Yun, but later died in a friendly fire incident. Niu Fu's subordinates, Li Ju, Guosi and Fanchu, wanted to submit to the imperial court, but as they had previously resisted Wang Yun, Wang now rejected the request for amnesty. Li Ju, Guosi and Fanchu led their armies to attack Chang'an and took control of the government. Wang Yun was captured and executed along with his family, while Lu Bu was defeated and driven away. Continued warfare. After taking control of the imperial court in Chang'an, Li Ju, Guosi and Fanchu did as they pleased without showing any regard for the welfare of the state. Concurrently, provincial warlords all over China battled each other to expand their territories or further their personal interests. Some of those warlords were friendly with Li Jie's forces, while others remained hostile to them, even though all of them nominally acknowledged Emperor Xian as the sovereign ruler of China. In 193, armed conflict broke out between the northern warlords Lu Yu and Gongsun Zan. Lu Yu strongly opposed warfare while Gongsun Zan continuously waged war against Yuan Shao. Lu Yu and Gongsun Zan made accusations against each other in the respective memorials to Emperor Xian. Eventually, Lu Yu was unable to tolerate Gongsun Zan and attacked the latter, but was defeated and killed. In 195, turmoil ensued in Chang'an when Li Ju and Guosi killed Fanchu together, and later turned against each other. Li Ju held Emperor Xian hostage while Guosi kidnapped the imperial officials, and both sides engaged in battle. Later that year, Li Ju and Guosi made peace and agreed to allow Emperor Xian to return to the old capital, Luoyang, but later regretted the decision and pursued him. While Li Ju and Guosi were never able to capture Emperor Xian again, the imperial court was rendered poor and unable to fend for itself. As Luoyang had been previously devastated by fire during Dong Zhuo's time, the city lacked the basic essentials of life and many officials starved to death or resorted to cannibalism. Around this time, Zhu Shou suggested to Yuan Shao to welcome Emperor Xian to his province so that he could take effective control of the government. However, Guo Tu and Chen Yuqiong opposed Zhu Shou's view, claiming that if Yuan Shao brought Emperor Xian to his territory, he would need to yield to the emperor on key decisions and follow proper court protocol. Yuan Shao remained hesitant and did not come to a conclusion on whether to receive the emperor or not. Gradual reunification under Cao Cao. Cao Cao's use of Emperor Xian as titular authority, while Yuan Shao was still indecisive on whether to welcome Emperor Xian or not. Cao Cao took advantage of the situation to bring the emperor to his territory. At the time, Cao Cao was still a relatively minor warlord, with only Yan province under his control. In 196, Cao Cao led his army towards Luoyang. He encountered Dong Cheng and Yang Feng, convinced them of his loyalty, and was allowed to meet the emperor. In name, Cao Cao was sharing power with the other officials and nobles, but actually he was in control. But yet he ensured that the officials and nobles were treated with due respect. Hence he faced minimal opposition in the imperial court. Later, Later, Cao Cao escorted the emperor back to his base in Zhu, establishing the new capital there. From then on, although Cao Cao was a subject of Emperor Xian in name, he actually wielded state power and controlled the imperial court. Despite so, Cao Cao never showed disrespect to Emperor Xian, and instead honored the emperor according to formal imperial protocol. Cao Cao also issued imperial edicts in Emperor Xian's name to other warlords, ordering them to submit to imperial authority when in fact they were actually submitting to him. When Cao Cao sent Yuan Shao an edict in the emperor's name, only then did Yuan realize that he had lost an opportunity to make use of the emperor to control other warlords. Cao Cao's rise to power. Even after moving to the new capital at Zhu, the central government still lacked funds and food supplies. As suggested by Zhao Ji, Cao Cao implemented a new Tunshan policy to promote agricultural production, in which soldiers were sent to grow crops, and the harvest would be shared between the military and civilian population. The policy yielded commendable results as the area around Zhu developed into highly productive farmland and the problem of shortage of food was resolved. At this time, the most prominent warlords in China were Yuan Shao, who controlled Ji, Bing and Qing provinces. Some of the territories were governed by Yuan Shao's three sons and nephew, Yuan Shu, who controlled most of present-day Anhui and parts of Jiangsu, Gongsun Zan, who controlled Yu province, including present-day Beijing, Tianjin and western Liaoning, Liu Biao, who controlled Jing province, Liu Zhang, who controlled Yi province, Lu Bu, who seized control of Zhu province from its previous governor Liu Bei. There were still many other minor warlords, and Cao Cao particularly sought to get them to submit to him. In 197, Zhang Xiu surrendered Wancheng to Cao Cao. However, Cao Cao later had an affair with Zhang Xiu's widowed aunt, angering Zhang, who rebelled and launched a surprise attack on Cao Cao at Wancheng. In this battle, Cao Cao's oldest son Cao Ang, nephew Cao Anmin, and bodyguard Dian Wei were killed, and Cao Cao himself narrowly escaped from death. On the advice of Jia, Zhang Xiu eventually surrendered to Cao Cao in 200. In addition, in 197, Cao Cao was able to persuade Ma Teng and Han Sui, who controlled Yong and Liang provinces, to submit to him. That year, Yuan Shu declared himself son of heaven in Shouchun, an act perceived as treason against the Han dynasty government, prompting other warlords to use that as an excuse to attack him. Sun Ce, son of Sun Jian, who had conquered several territories in Jiangdong between 194 and 199, ended his alliance with Yuan Shu and became an independent warlord. Lu Bu, who was also previously Yuan Shu's ally, broke ties with Yuan and dealt him a major defeat near Shouchun. Cao Cao also attacked Yuan Shu and defeated him. Yuan Shu attempted to flee north to join Yuan Sha, but his way was blocked and he eventually died of illness on the way back to Shouchun in 199. In 198, Yuan Sha tried to persuade Cao Cao to move the capital to Wancheng, which was nearer to his own territory, in an attempt to wrestle Emperor Xian away from Cao, but Cao refused. Later that year, Cao Cao joined forces with Liu Bei to attack Lu Bu, defeating him at the Battle of Xiapi. Lu Bu was captured and executed on Cao Cao's order, and Zhu province came under Cao's control. In 199, Gongsun Zan was defeated by Yuan Shao at the Battle of Yijing and he committed suicide by setting himself on fire. Gongsun Zan's territories, which extended to the northern boundaries of the Han dynasty's empire, were completely annexed by Yuan Shao. Yuan Shao then turned his attention south towards Cao Cao, who was an emerging power in central China. Yuan formed formed an alliance with Liu Biao and was intent on attacking Cao Cao. Battle of Guandu against the advice of Zhu and Tian Feng, who reasoned that the troops were exhausted after the battles against Gongsun and needed rest. Yuan Shao prepared for a campaign against Cao Cao, confident that his much larger army could easily crush Cao Cao's. While Cao Cao readied himself for battle, he discovered that Dong Zhuo, Liu Biao and a few other officials were conspiring against him. In early 200, Liu Biao used an opportunity to break away from Cao Cao and seize control of Zhou province. After killing Cao Cao's appointed governor of the province, Zhou. On the other hand, Dong Zhuo and the others were making plans to assassinate Cao Cao. However, the plot was exposed and all the conspirators in the capital were massacred along with the families. Cao Cao then took a risk by attacking Liu Biao in Zhou province, leaving his flank open to attacks from Yuan Shao. However, Cao Cao made a right choice because Yuan Shao did not heed Tian Feng's urging to seize the chance to attack him. Liu Biao was defeated and he fled north to join Yuan Shao. Liu Bai's general Guan Yu surrendered to Cao Cao and temporarily served under Cao. Only after Liu Bai's defeat did Yuan Shao start implementing his plan to attack Cao Cao, but this time Tian Feng opposed his decision, saying that their opportunity had passed. Yuan Shao became annoyed with Tian Feng and had Tian imprisoned, after which he led his army south to attack Cao Cao. At the Battle of Boma, Yuan Shao's general Yan Liang was slain by Guan Yu while another of Yuan's generals, Wen Shu, was killed in action against Cao Cao's forces. The morale of Yuan Shao's army was greatly affected by the loss of the two generals. By late 200, the armies of Yuan Shao and Cao Cao finally clashed at Guandu, south of the Yellow River. Yuan Shao had two advantages over Cao Cao: numerical superiority and greater amount of supplies, but Cao Cao's troops were better trained than his. After some minor skirmishes, both sides became locked in a stalemate, until Cao Cao personally led a small detachment on a surprise attack on Yuan Shao's supply depot at Huachao, which was defended by Chen Yuqiong. Instead of sending reinforcements to Huachao, Yuan Shao sent Zhang He and Gao Lan to attack Cao Cao's camp, but was unsuccessful. The fall of Huachao dealt a major blow to the morale of Yuan Shao's army, which was subsequently routed by Cao Cao's forces. Yuan Shao fled north of the Yellow River while most of his troops were either killed or surrendered to Cao Cao. From that point on, although Yuan Shao continued to remain as a major power player, he could no longer challenge Cao Cao's growing supremacy. Fall of the Yuan power bloc. After Yuan Shao died of illness in 202, a struggle of succession developed between his oldest son Yuan Tan and third son Yuan Shang. Several years before Yuan Shao's death, based on the traditional order of succession, Yuan Tan should have been designated as the heir apparent, but as Yuan Shao's wife Lady Lu favored Yuan Shang, so Yuan Shao had Yuan Tan posthumously adopted by the latter's uncle, Yuan Sheng. Yuan Shao then divided his territories between his sons and nephew Gao Gan, ostensibly so that he could determine their abilities. His base of Ji province was given to Yuan Shang. Yuan Tan controlled Qing province, while Yuan Shi governed Yu province, and Gao Gan ruled Bing province. On his deathbed, Yuan Shao did not leave any explicit instruction as to who should succeed him. If Yuan Shao's followers, Pang Ji and Shen Pei supported Yuan Shang, while Xin Ping and Guotu favored Yuan Tan. After Yuan Shao's death, most of his subordinates initially wanted Yuan Tan to be the new lord, since he was the oldest son. However, Shenpei and Pang Ji forged a will, naming Yuan Shang as the successor. Yuan Tan was furious and mobilized his forces under the pretext of attacking Cao Cao, drawing Cao's attention, and Cao preemptively retaliated. Yuan Shang came to his oldest brother's aid, and they fought inconclusively against Cao Cao in the Battle of Liyang. In 203, Cao Cao scored a major victory over the Yuans, who retreated back to Ji Province's capital, Yi. Cao Cao then planned to besiege Yi, but later withdrew his forces after heeding Guojia's advice. Guojia reasoned that if Cao Cao pressured the Yuans, they might unite against a common enemy. However, if Cao Cao retreated, the disgruntled Yuan brothers would start fighting among themselves. Guojia's prediction came true later when Yuan Tan, still bearing a grudge against Yuan Shang for receiving a large inheritance, attacked Yuan Shang, but his forces in Qing Province defected to Yuan Shang. Yuan Tan fled to Ping Yuan and was besieged by Yuan Shang there. Yuan Tan sought help from Cao Cao, and Cao advanced north to attack Yi, forcing Yuan Shang to lift the siege on Ping Yuan. In early 204, Yuan Shang incorrectly believed that Cao Cao had withdrawn, so he attacked his brother again at Ping Yuan. Cao Cao attacked Yi once more and Yuan Shang headed back to defend his base, but was defeated by Cao Cao. Yuan Shang then fled north to Zhongshan, and Yi fell to Cao Cao. Gao Gan also surrendered Bing Province to Cao Cao. During Cao Cao's siege on Yi, Yuan Tan did not help attack Yi but sought to take Yuan Shang's territories, defeating Yuan Shang in Zhongshan. Yuan Shang fled further north to join Yuan Shi in Yu Province. Cao Cao now accused Yuan Tan of breaching the trust in the alliance, so he turned east to attack him, capturing Yuan Tan's last stronghold at Nanpi and killing Yuan. Meanwhile, in Yu Province, Yuan Zai's subordinate Zhao Chu revolted and surrendered to Cao Cao, forcing Yuan Shi and Yuan Shang to flee further north to join the Wu Huan tribes under Chief Tadan. Around this time, Gao Gan also rebelled against Cao Cao, but was defeated by 206 and killed while attempting to flee south to join Liu Biao. In 207, Cao Cao's army headed north to attack the Wu Huan, defeating them at the Battle of White Wolf Mountain. Tadin was killed in battle while Yuan Shi and Yuan Shang sought refuge under Gongsun Kang, a warlord who controlled most of present-day Liaoning. Gongsun Kang feared that the Yuans might turn against him and seize his territory, so he had them executed and sent the heads to Cao Cao. By this time, the Yuan clan had been completely eliminated and much of northern China had been reunified under Cao Cao's control.